The following presentation is brought to you by the Realm Network.
Hello, everybody. It is Vince Russo from his cabin in the woods on Lake Yogi. Hope you're all having a great day today. My day's, been okay. Could be better, could be worse, but it's about to get real good in a minute, and I'll tell you why. A certain individual followed me on Twitter a couple of days ago out of the blue, and I was happy to get the follow. I did not know this individual, but I knew of her. And I've got to say this, just to get it all out there in the open. She had her run as a WWE diva during a time where I really did not watch any WWE product. And the reason why I didn't is basically because I was in knee deep at TNA at the time. I was really busy with TNA. And there were literally about almost 10 years where I didn't watch any WWE programming. And this is when this individual had her run. So, of course, being the host that I am, I had to go back. I had to do some research. I had to watch a lot of YouTube. I had to get myself familiar with her work. And I got to tell you, I was very impressed for reasons why I'll get into. And it wasn't her work. Listen, you know me. I'm not the wrestling guy. If you're a woman and you're in the wrestling business, you can work. That kind of goes with the territory. I never really look at the work of the women that I worked with. I look at the personality. I look at the whole package. There was a lot of uniqueness with this individual that really struck me right away, and that kind of separated her from the rest of the pack. And she was a lot different from the majority of the women I worked with in the past. So that caught my interest. Second of all, there was a little bit of a chase. Because this individual was a little afraid to come on. Listen, we've all heard the Vince Russo horror stories. What is this lunatic going to ask me? And I can understand that. So I had to kind of go on an audition where I had to kind of send her a video that I did with another female wrestler. I sent her an interview I did with Eva Lees a couple of years ago. And after watching that, I think she felt a little bit more relaxed and a little bit more comfortable when she saw my style. So she's coming on the show today. And I'm going to treat her with kid gloves. And I'm going to put her high above a pedestal. And before the show over, I'm going to make a new friend. I am bringing on the show right now former WWE diva, Jillian Hall. Jillian, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Now, Jillian, I got to set one guideline with you from the beginning. I tell this to all the beautiful women I bring on the show. I am a 56-year-old man. I've been married for 33 years to the same woman. Never, ever cheated on my wife. And listen, being in the wrestling business for 25 years and being on the road that much, I think that speaks very highly of me. But when I have a beautiful woman come on my show, I kind of put her over. I kind of like telling women how beautiful they are. My wife doesn't have a problem with it. I'm absolutely harmless. So I want to tell you, for meeting you for the very first time, you are a beautiful, striking woman. I got to tell you that, to be honest with you.
Thank you.
Now, Jillian, let me ask you this. You wanted to see one of the interviews I did with a female before, and you asked me to send you one of somebody that I did not know. And I did not know Eva Lees. I never met Eva Lees. I was a big fan of her. I sent you that interview. You saw the interview. After watching that, you agreed to come on here. So my first question is, out of interest, like, what were you looking for in that interview? Like, what could I have said or could I have done for you to say, absolutely not, I am not going on that lunatic show?
Well, you made her feel comfortable, and that was something I was afraid of. I avoid these like the plague. I hate them. So just want to feel comfortable.
Now, Jillian, let me ask you this. Do you avoid these like the plague because you had a bad experience, or you just kind of know the overall theme of being interviewed on wrestling sites? Listen, I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm not a fan of it either. A lot of them are looking for the dirt. They're looking for the scoop. They're looking for the headline. And a lot of times, like I see them lead wrestlers down a certain path, trying to get them to say certain things. Did you have a bad experience, or is it kind of just what you knew?
No, I didn't have a bad experience with them. I just chose not to do them because there's a lot of negative stuff out there about me. And I'd rather sometimes just leave it and not talk about it because people spin stuff and it's just annoying.
Now, Jillian, I want to ask you about that, because one of the first things you DM'd back to me was I could tell that there was something going on between you and the internet. And you said to me early on, a lot of people out there don't like me. And listen, I was able to relate to that immediately. There are a lot of people out there that don't know me, just like they don't know you, think they know me, and absolutely hate me, say terrible things to me, terrible things about my family, the whole 9 yards. I can't now I'm gonna guess, because this kind of happened with me, Jillian. I wanna and again, I don't want to get into anything you don't want to talk about. I'm not gonna make you feel uncomfortable, but let me tell you what I noticed with me. You know wrestling, and in wrestling, you're an entertainer and you're a performer, and you got to take your personality and you got to multiply it 1,000,000 times over. So when Vince Russo was an on-air character, I was from New York, but I knew what everybody's perception of a New Yorker was. So I took that and blew it up 1,000,000 times over. Now, obviously, I wasn't that guy on TV, but to this day, millions of people out there believe I'm that guy, and they hate me, and they hate everything about me. They have no idea who I am. Now, what I saw of you, you were a magnificent heel. You were a heat magnet. Did that have a lot to do with the real life perception of you, or were there other incidents where you seemed to be kind of going at it with the fans out there?
I think it's mostly my personal life that they've torn apart. I don't think it really has anything to do with my character that much.
Well, Jillian, I want you to be comfortable, but like when you say these things, you interest me, because now I want to learn about you as an individual. So when you say about like your personal life, like what sort of things happen in your personal life that would have set people against you?
Well, like the first thing that you see when you Google me is that I got arrested. That's
right.
The first thing that people are going to see, and that's super negative. They've actually pulled me apart when I was on television too. That happened after I was on television, because I went through all kinds of stuff, which I'm sure that we'll get into. But I'm just not like the other girls either. I was always different, and I think people have a problem with that.
Now, what way, Jillian? Because let me tell you something. I saw things about you that were different from the other girls, from my perspective, and I don't know you at all. And we're going to talk about that. But from your perspective, what was different about you than the other girls?
Well, originally, I didn't look like any of them, for sure. I don't know. I'm not a good baby face. I'm a heel, and I'm a natural heel. When all the other girls are wanting to get their stuff in and do this and that and make themselves look amazing, I'm the one who wants to make them look good. I would just say that I wanted them to look good, and I was kind of the hidden girl.
Jillian, let me listen, as somebody that doesn't know you, but as somebody that can look at a talent and, excessive talent, let me tell you what I saw, because again, and not even knowing your history with the fans, I think I can understand a lot of this. Okay. Listen, in today's world of wrestling, it's a lot different than an era that I worked in. I worked in an era, Sable and China and Sunny had just come on the scene. They were making a name for females in the business. But listen, none of them hung their hat on wrestling. They all brought a big personality and a big female presence to the wrestling world. As a matter of fact, I don't even know if you know this or not, Jillian, but like Sable wasn't even a wrestler. You know, Mark Merrow had to train Sable in order for us, to write matches for her. She wasn't even a wrestler. So we really, when I was writing, it was all about the personalities of Sunny and Sable and China. Wrestling was like a secondary thing. Well, now we've made the transition over into, today with the women, it's all about the wrestling. It's all about the wrestling. It's all about the athleticism in the ring. And quite frankly, I don't believe that's what casual fans want to see. I believe that's what Cellar Dweller, that was awesome wrestling fans want to see. But I don't believe it's what people like me want to see. I like to see beautiful women who are in great shape, but who are also great entertainers. Now, let me tell you what I liked about you immediately that separated you from the pack. And you tell me if I'm right or I'm wrong. You know who Roseanne Barr is, right, Jillian?
Yes.
You know why I was such a fan of Roseanne Barr? I'll tell you why. I was a fan of Roseanne Barr because Roseanne Barr was always a little bit on the obese side. She was always a little bit overweight. But every time she had the opportunity to be in a bathing suit on her show, or to, be in like, a sexy clothing, she did it. She found every opportunity to do that because as a comedian, she was kind of making fun of herself. So in other words, she wasn't taking herself too seriously. And I loved that about Roseanne. She really came across as that blue collar Hollywood star. And I love that about her. Now, when I saw you and I saw the body of your work, there are two things that I loved about it. I loved about it, you were absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, not afraid to go out there and make an absolute horse's ass out of yourself with the singing, generating heat. You were not afraid to do it. So right then and there, that tells me one thing about you. That tells me about you, this girl's got absolutely no ego. She is an entertainer and she is a performer. And even if she puts herself in a bad light, she is going to do whatever she can do to go out there and do her job. That's number one. Now, Jillian, here's number two. I worked with hundreds of women in the wrestling business and beautiful women. And one thing I noticed was, the more beautiful the woman was, the more they didn't want to expose themselves as maybe not being a diva or not being super intelligent or not being standoffish. In other words, there weren't many that would have went out there and did what you did. So immediately to me, you got this beautiful woman who has no boundaries, is going out there making a jackass out of herself. You could tell she's enjoying the crap out of it. But not only that, it was over. So not knowing that much about you, Jillian, when I describe you in that way, is that correct?
That is me, actually. That's me in real life too, a little bit.
But that's a great way to be. I mean, do people, when people see you, do they have other expectations of you? And maybe when you're not that way, that's where the misunderstanding comes in?
I don't know. I think that, well, the way that I was brought into the company really screwed me up, for one thing.
Tell me about that, because I'm not familiar with that. Maybe I'll get a better understanding.
Well, short story is, Vince brought me to TV and said that he had a wonderful idea and he was going to put a giant mole on my face. And I debuted with the giant mole or something on my face. It looks like a pancake, waffle or something. And it was completely unbelievable and ridiculous. And not a good way to bring someone in.
Now, Jillian, listen, Vince McMahon, I was connected to Vince's hip for 5 years. And Jillian, he's got like, there's a warp side of his brain. And like, that's the perfect example. That is to Vince McMahon. As brilliant as Vince McMahon is, he's got this side of him of sophomoric humor, dog crap and farting, and which is unbelievable. So that I totally get that. Now, I would have to think, Jillian, like, you had to be pumped up. I'm getting into WWE. I'm there. This is an opportunity. But even you had to look at that and say, well, like, I don't know. So how did you feel when he presented that to you? Did you ever think that would get over, or you would be able to get it over?
Well, first off, the way he presented it was hilarious. And no, I didn't know what I was going to do with it. But he brought me and Matt Morgan to Chicago. We were both in OVW at the time and developmental. And he gave us these gimmicks the same day, and they were both completely ridiculous. And
was that when Matt Morgan was stuttering?
They
Okay,
brought us that same day and gave us those two gimmicks. Matt Morgan was going to stutter, and I was going to have a giant mole on my face. He must have been in some kind of mood. I don't know.
Did he ever give any, reason behind the mold, or just, I mean, it kind of sounds to me like, let me give you a perfect example, Jillian. If I don't know if you remember, God, I can't even remember the wrestler's name, who it was, but we had a group, of a band of misfits. And, one of the guy was humpback. And Vince McMahon thought it was the most, hysterical thing in the world. How can you pin a humpback? The guy will never be able to get pinned because he's a humpback. He popped himself with this idea, and I would have to sit there like, yeah, okay, Vince, like, are you freaking out of your freaking mind? That's the worst thing I ever heard of. So, like, this sounds like one of those things, Jillian, where to him, this was going to be the greatest thing. And to a normal person, we're saying, bro, are you out of your freaking mind or what? You had to be saying that, right?
He literally said that he had the greatest idea, and I was going to be a household name because I had this giant thing on my face. And I was thinking, yeah, in my head, I was thinking, holy crap, what am I going to do? I worked so hard to get here. And I learned how to wrestle, changed my appearance to look more like a diva. And he wants me to go in there and put something on my face that's going to make me look ridiculous and not good.
And there's nothing you can say, right? There's absolutely nothing you could say.
I was doing this. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Here's one of his other great ideas. Like one of them where I was like, this falls in that category. He wanted Dustin Runnels, Gold Dust, just as Dustin Runnels, to wear a full suit body stocking, a nude colored body stocking. And he wanted him to be called like the naked guy. And he would come up with these things, and I'd be sitting there like, bro, but yeah, he's got that part of his brain, that function. So Jillian, I swear to God, I'm trying to put myself in your shoes now. You gotta sit in a makeup chair every time you go to TV, and they're putting this hideous mole on your face. What's going through your mind when you're going through this process every week?
He was so excited about this. He actually had me go somewhere and have my what is it when they like a sculpture of my head? He had a sculpture of my head made, and he had it made just so he could fit a mole, which turned out to be something you literally just put glue on. But I have it in here somewhere. I would totally get it if I knew exactly.
No, you're gonna do the next interview with the mole. Just for me.
No, I just sat there and we would put glue on the back of it and stick it on my face. So So he had this mask made for me too, which he also used the sculpture for of my head. He had this mask made so that I could wrestle and it wouldn't just be pulled off my face. And I didn't obviously have to wear it under there.
Wait, so I don't understand. So like what kind of what was that? What did that look like?
Which thing, the mask or the mold?
Yeah, the mask. Like,
if you would YouTube like me and Stacy Keebler, I wore it in that match.
Okay, I'm gonna have to watch that. Now, my buddy Jeff Lane was telling me, because he was giving me a little background, that eventually the boogeyman ate the mold. Is that the gimmick? Was that the gimmick?
Yeah.
Okay, now here's something interesting to me. Here's something interesting to me that Jillian, you're gonna have to explain to me. Vince McMahon is a guy used to getting his way. Like he showed this tremendously the last couple of years, where it was like, Roman Reigns is going to be a baby face by God, no matter what the fan, like that's Vince McMahon. He's going to do something forever because he's never going to be wrong. At some point, we had to realize that the mole was a fart in church. And because obviously it came off. So how long were you working with this, and what reason was given that it was time for the mold to come off?
I think I had it for about 5 or 6 months, and I was about to get fired. Honestly, they were going to take that mole off of me. They were going to make it give Boogeyman his moment and JBL and that was going to be the end of me. I'm like 98% sure. Because I was told, I actually asked a writer, I said, so they're taking the mole off of me, then what are they going to do? And I kept going and asking and asking and asking. Mm-hmm. And he would kind of just like, I'm not sure yet, one of those things. And I was like, am I getting fired? And he was like, no, not that I know of, how they do. But anyways, if you watch that episode where he bit it off, Vince said that my acting was so good that saved my job.
Oh, well, that's a good thing then, Jillian. So maybe it did work out for you at that point in time. I got to tell you something. You're lucky, and maybe they did. I don't know. You know how the wrestling business is with ribs. We're all in high school. You know how that goes. I'm shocked that they didn't tell you had to walk around in public with the mold.
They didn't actually. And actually what is so crazy about it is once he did bite it off and I ran off, the next week I was on television and they wanted me to be normal. And I was like, but shouldn't I put a bandage on or something?
Yeah.
They're like,
yeah, react to it, be traumatized by it, the whole 9 yards. Yeah. But I'm literally shocked they didn't screw with you and make you wear that out in public.
They didn't. No one told me to.
So this has to be a huge relief for you. I mean, I would think this had to feel like there was this 1,000-pound weight lifted off your back.
Yeah, it was horrible. But I really did think I was about to get fired.
Yeah.
Which would
well,
suck.
That's a good thing then. He got to see, Jillian, let me ask you a question hypothetically. Do you think, him saying you did such a great job, I saw you could act, blah, 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 and you being on the show the next week, do you thought that was part of him saving face? Whereas if you would have been fired, I think it would have been clear to everybody this mole gimmick did not work. Do you think there was part of that involved looking back now?
I never really thought about it like that, but I guess it could be an ego thing. Yeah.
Yeah, because people
then again, it didn't work out so well for Matt Morgan because he did get fired.
He did get fired. And I love Matt Morgan. He's one of my most favorite people in the world. I mean, I think very, very highly of Matt Morgan. I got to talk about my great sponsor, True Car. When you're looking to buy a car, you want to make sure that you're getting real pricing on actual inventory. Unfortunately, a lot of times this isn't the case. People configure cars online only later to find out they're not available. With TrueCar, you can get real pricing on actual inventory. This is not pricing offered by TrueCar, but pricing from the actual dealer, and not just any dealer, but a TrueCar certified dealer. This is a carefully curated network of dealers committed to transparency and offering you a competitive market price. Using TrueCar, you can easily find the car that you want. TrueCar will show you what other people in your area paid for the same car that you're looking for. Over 3 million cars have been sold to TrueCar users by TrueCar Certified Dealer Network. There are over 13,000 TrueCar dealers nationwide. You will work directly with one of them. You are more likely to enjoy a faster buying experience, and TrueCar users save an average of over $3,000 off the MSRP. So when you're ready to buy, visit TrueCar to enjoy a more confident car buying experience. Some features are not available in all states. That's TrueCar.com. Yeah. All right, Jillian, now I saw a lot of the singing gimmick, okay? So I'm assuming there had to be a point where somebody caught you singing badly. Like, I don't think that idea would just pop out of somebody's head, especially the writers they have these days. What triggered that?
That was all me, actually.
Good for you.
I just did it. I'll tell you the story, actually. I was on a house show on SmackDown, or live event, whatever they call them these days. It was me, Ashley, Crystal, Michelle. That may have been it. But we were stuck every single week doing these best body contests. So we'd go out there and just take off our robes, and the crowd would yay and boo. And I got so bored of that because it was, seriously, it went on for months. And I think it was Finley was the agent that day. Anyways, I said, I don't want to go out there and take off my robe right before my music hit. I said, I'm going to go sing. And they're like, okay, all right. So I actually did it. I grabbed the mic and I started singing and started taking off my robe, and it got like the biggest pop of the night. And he went and told them at TV, and now, Jill,
I got to stop you right here because I know the nature of the beast in wrestling. Okay, Jillian, that's a risk. That is a huge risk because that's either going to go over or it's going to be freaking awful. So right there, for you to even suggest that, that tells me a lot about you, because that could have went south. That could have been really, really bad. Did that thought go through your mind, or did you just like, screw it, I'm going to go out there and do it?
I didn't really think about it. I just did it. And it was so cool. And we had such a cool group at the time that he literally said, okay. So he actually gave me the okay.
When you went out there and you did it, did you do it the exact way you imagined, or did you kind of play off the people once you saw where it was going?
I did it. It happened in my head and it happened out there pretty much the same. But everyone in the back was telling me that I was awful at singing, and I really thought that I was singing good. That's where it actually first came from. I thought that I really sounded like Britney Spears, and they're like, "No, you really don't." And I was like, "Kind of though, a little bit."
Jillian, there's no way you would think that you sounded like. Please tell me.
I turned it up a little bit out there, obviously.
All right, okay. But Jillian, you know what this tells me about you, and I don't know you, but this is what this tells me about you immediately. You don't have an ego. For you to literally go out there, I'm going to make a complete jackass out of myself to get the crowd over. I mean, that tells me you don't have any. Listen, man, the average beautiful girl would not do that, because the looks are very important. They want to come across the way they think they look. Nobody would look at you and see that. Do you have an ego?
No, not really. I don't think so.
Well, you surely know that had to separate you from the pack. I would have to think at that point, right?
Begging something to separate me at that time. How many times can you go out there with the same group of girls, take off your clothes, and just wait for a yay or a boo? I mean, that gets so old, and I had to separate myself. I had to do something with myself, or I would have been fired at some point, obviously.
Yeah. But again, that was a gamble, because if it didn't work, you would have been fired if it didn't work.
I don't think on just trying it out on a laid back live event, I don't think that they would have over that.
Yeah, maybe not, but it could have. I mean, it could have hurt your career path. Let me put it to you that way.
Yeah, I guess.
So you did this, and the singing is really what molded you, and that's real. And listen, I think that people really have lost sight of what being over means, and I don't think people understand what a pop of a crowd is, because now when somebody comes out at NXT in front of a college audience, they think that's a huge pop. No, that's not a huge pop. When I was watching your videos, they were reacting to you. So this was definitely working. Now, the fact that you're separating yourself from the pack a little bit, does there start to be like a little animosity or a little jealousy from the other girls? Or, I mean, were they all, applauding you and very supportive of what you were doing?
They loved it, actually, because now I could be a strong heel and I could get the girls over. Ashley absolutely loved it because she got someone to work with. And she wasn't that great of a wrestler, so she needed someone to help her out in the ring a little bit. And I was the one who did that the rest of the time I was on SmackDown until I moved to Raw.
Now, I got to tell you, there's a lot of women today, and like some of the women have cut promos on it on Raw. And I got to be honest with you, Sasha Banks, cut a promo one time, and I have nothing against Sasha. I don't know Sasha, but the promo really pissed me off, because by putting over, the work, the way the girls work today, the girls work like guys. And by putting that over, I felt she kind of buried some of the entertainers in the past that weren't great workers, but they were over with the fans, and they were very, very popular figures in WWE. Now, Jillian, what I keep hearing from you is you took your wrestling now very, very seriously. You went to OVW. You always wanted to get better and better and better. And a lot of times you don't find somebody who takes their wrestling very seriously, helping get the other girls over, helping make the other girls look. There aren't many girls that take the wrestling very seriously, but also understand the entertainment aspect that goes with that. It's got to be the combination of the two. What made you realize that, Jillian? Did somebody smarten you up about that, or just by studying the business and looking at what was over and what wasn't over, did you come to the conclusion, not only do I have to be a great worker, but I also have to be a great entertainer?
I wanted to be able to wrestle just as good as anyone else, obviously. But when I started watching wrestling, it was early 90s, and there were so many gimmicks. There was like the Repo Man pops to mind for some reason. That's the first one that came to my mind just now. And I just loved the gimmicks. I loved the entertainment part. I really didn't care that much to watch the wrestling part at the time when I was younger. I just loved the gimmicks. The model Rick Martel, oh my gosh, that's who made me want to become a wrestler.
With the arrogance, with the spray can.
Yeah.
Jillian, why do you think that that's been lost somewhere, over the last couple of decades? I mean, now, like, everybody, they want to wrestle. They look like wrestlers. There's no pomp and circumstance. There's no vignettes. There's no great entrances. There's no great ring gear. Everybody wants to be a wrestler and look like a wrestler and be taken seriously as a wrestler. How do you think we got from the Repo Man to people believing that wrestling is real in 2000? How do you think that happened? Because I don't know. Like, I sit here and I'm like, I'm with you. My God, Piper and the Junkyard Dog and Randy Savage. I'm with you. That's why I got in the business. Somewhere along the lines, they convinced themselves that the fake fights are real, and that's what's important. And I bang my head against the wall every day. How did that happen? What's your philosophy on that?
Well, They always say that it goes around. It's always going to come back. So hopefully they'll come back. I don't know. I think that they're always trying to change and make it.
Yeah, but I mean, Jillian, going back, like I started watching wrestling probably in the early 70s. There were gimmicks in the early 70s. There were gimmicks all the way through the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the Attitude Era. It really didn't start till now where all of a sudden, oh no, we're wrestlers and we look like wrestlers and we're going to do, flip flop and flying in the ring and maybe break our neck. I don't understand. And here's where I personally get pissed off. That's not wrestling to me. If they called it something else, I think I'd be okay with it. But I need the combination of the wrestling and the entertainment. That's what I need.
That's what made me love it too. I have a hard time sitting through 3 hours now of Raw. It's kind of like watching the same thing over and over. I hate to see that, but
well, it's such a, Jillian, I don't watch it anymore. I don't for that exact reason. I mean, listen, as a television viewer, you gotta make me interested in the television show that I'm watching, and I'm not getting the characters, I'm not getting the storyline, so I don't sit there and watch it either.
Yeah, I get a little bored with it.
Yeah. Now, Jillian, do you mind? Can I mention? I don't think you'll mind. You went out with two of your buddies last night, right?
Yeah.
Can we talk about that for a second?
Sure.
ODB, right? Mickie James, right?
Yes.
Now you guys all well, does ODB officially live someplace? I know she travels all over the world with her world famous barbecue sauce. Does she actually live in Florida?
Her official address is in Florida, I believe. Yeah, I actually asked her that last night, and she said some city. I can't remember what it was, but yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating to me. I love Mickie. And I love ODB. You're hanging out with the both of them, but they're two completely different personalities. Completely different personalities.
We all three are. All different.
Yeah. So now I'm sure you had to mention, Vince Russo wants me on the show. I don't know. I never met him, blah, blah, blah. Did you bring me up to them? I would hope Mickie James and ODB put me over to some extent.
I was about to say, gotta get yourself. Never mind. Mickie James, I said something to her before we left her house, and she said, "Oh, he's good. He'll be good with you." So
okay, good. So yeah. that made you feel a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah.
And ODB probably said something like "these nuts" or something like that, because that's all she used to say to me. Every time I would pass her in a hallway, she would grab her crotch and say to me, "these nuts," and that went on for about a good 10-year period.
Well, it sounds like her, yes, but she wasn't there when we were talking about you. If she were there, I'm sure she would say that.
I got to tell you something. To me, like, listen, there are a lot of great success stories in wrestling. To me, ODB traveling the world in a barbecue van is like the greatest story to me I've ever heard in my life.
She's a super cool girl. Yeah, I didn't know her that well. I've never actually worked in the same company as her. It's like every time I got somewhere and left, she would just come into that place. When I left OVW and went to SmackDown, she came to OVW. When I left, when I was in WWE, I think she was in TNA. We just always missed each other.
Yeah. Okay, so Jillian, now walk me through the singing gimmick is working. The singing gimmick is getting over. Hey, listen, people, if you don't believe me, go watch it on YouTube. You can listen to the people. You don't have to listen to me. It was over. What happens at that point? Does it run its course? I mean, to me, this is something I think you could have done for a long time. I believe at some point you cut a Christmas album or something. I mean, I think if I'm writing, I think this thing could have had legs. Tell me what happened.
Well, it went for a really long time, actually. It went almost my entire time there. I think I was singing on television for close to 5 years.
Well, that's a very long time.
Yeah. So what are you asking about, the release or?
Yeah, I'm asking. Yeah, because I wanna talk to you about a couple of things that I'm feeling just from the vibe, because I'm I'm feeling a connection with you for a couple of reasons, and we're going to get into that. So yeah, tell me about the release, because this is all I read. In 2014, they wanted you to be a trainer, I believe, in Florida, and you asked for your release. That's all I have.
No, actually, I was on TV, and I had my job. I was doing fine, and there was no talk of me being released at all. And I met someone, and I got married, and we wanted to try to have a family. So I asked for my release, and Johnny said, "Why do you want to be released?" And I said, "Because I just don't feel like traveling anymore. I want to start a family." And he's like, "Well, you should think about it." And then it comes back and says the next week, "Well, we don't want to release you." So I'm telling him, "But I don't want to be on the road anymore." And he says, "Okay, well, how about you think about it, take your time, go down there, and since you live in Florida, go train the girls at FCW a couple days a week, and then, you know, if you want to come back on TV, we'll talk about it whenever you're ready." And I was like, "Well, actually, that's a pretty good deal. I still get paid and can stay at home, go down there whenever, and still wrestle a little bit." So I did that for a couple months, and then all of a sudden, I got a call one day, and it's Johnny saying, "Got some bad news." And I was like, where's this going? He said, "We got to let you go. It's not in the budget to keep you down in FCW." And I said, "Okay, well, that's what I asked for anyways."
Did he give you an option at that time? Did he like say, "We have to let you go unless you want to come back full time and wrestle," or did he give you that option at that point?
He didn't give me the option, but then again, I wasn't asking for it. I was just like, "Okay, that's fine."
All right, Jill, I don't want to get into your personal life at all, but I got some questions that are kind of will bring us along the road. So you wound up, you have a child, right?
I do.
Okay, we were boy, girl.
I have a girl.
How old is she?
She's old. She's 17.
Oh my gosh, you 17. So my God, so she's graduating high school soon.
She's a junior in high school right now. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've got 3 grown kids, and I got a daughter who's my youngest. She's 21, so like I know what that's all about. Okay, so but you have a daughter, but then you got divorced. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, so you're single now, right?
Yes.
Okay, now, so this happens in 2011. From 2011 to 2014, you're really mommy, you're really taking care of daughter, but you're still taking independent shots. What's your life like for those 3 years?
A crazy mess. A lot of bad stuff happened to me in that period of time.
A lot of bad personal things.
Yeah. My daughter doesn't live with me. She was actually, when I started wrestling and went on the road, she was only 3. Well,
Wow.
She lived with me until she was 3. And then she ended up permanently moving in with my mom because I was gone so often. But when I was done, of course, I tell her, "Well, I'm done. You can come and stay with me now." But she had been so used to my mom at that point that she chose not to, which is kind of actually really upsetting. But I accepted it and I understood.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Man, I gotta though. I mean, Jillian, I don't want to pry, but I'm a parent. I got 3 kids. I don't like that. Had to break your heart. Like, I mean, because here's why I say that. Here's why I say, listen, Jillian, I say the same thing. Listen, my career, I spent 25 years in the wrestling business. The prime of my career was the prime of my kids' upbringing. Jillian, to this day, I'll never forget, and I'm kicking myself in the backside. My son, William, is going to turn 30. I'll never forget when he was about 12, I missed his first home run. I'll never forget that. And the thing to this day that tears me up is I look back at the freaking, and this is me talking now, Jillian, not you. I look back at the freaking sacrifices I made for a wrestling company that didn't give a crap about me. I put my family on the back burner. I sacrificed so much. As soon as they squoze everything they could out of me, they kicked me to the curb and could have cared less about me. And here's the hardest part for me. I look back now and I'm like, what an idiot. If I would have known then what I know now. But the hardest part is you can't freaking change it. That's the hardest part. That's something I swear I still carry to this day. So I don't want to, speak for you, but I would have to think you had to be going through that and feeling helpless because it's almost like the damage was done. I can't undo what happened. That's what happened to me. Am I right?
Well, yeah, and I think that's another reason. Oh, I almost fell backwards. That I was ready to just quit wrestling as soon as I got married and try to have a baby because I wanted a chance to do it right.
Right.
But that didn't work out either.
Well, do you have a good relationship with her, though? Is it a good relationship?
She's such a good girl. She's amazing. I couldn't ask for a better kid ever. We get along just fine. She's just really, she's to herself a lot. But yeah, we're good.
Well, Jillian, I hope you do realize, I mean, she's only 17 now. I hope you do realize as she gets older, with age comes maturity. I mean, I know this with my own kids. And now that they're out working and now that, they're supporting a wife and, they look at things a lot differently now. Now they kind of understand, oh, okay, this is why dad did what he did. So I think as they get older and the more and more responsibilities they have, I think they kind of start looking at decisions we made a little differently.
I hope so. I don't want her to hold that against me. That would suck pretty bad.
She won't. I mean, she won't. Now, Jillian, here's what I'm feeling with you. I got to be honest with you. So you got out for all the right reasons. Had enough of the road. I want to start a family. I want to be a mom. I want to be home with my child. You did it for all the right reasons. But now, like, you in 2017, you're making some kind of a comeback. Correct?
I guess so. Somewhat. We're going to see how that goes.
Can I be perfectly honest with you?
Sure.
I feel like it's not what you really want to do. Because I fall into that same trap, Jillian, and like I'm kind of getting this vibe from you. I fall into the same trap where like I walked away from wrestling and like I want to do other things. Like it's kind of like I've been there and I've done that, but like when those other things don't happen as quickly as I want them to happen, I find myself constantly going back to wrestling. And here's what I always find. When I go back, nothing has changed. All the reasons why I wanted to get out are still there. It's the wrestling business. It's never going to change, and it's never going to be on your terms. It's always going to be on somebody else's terms. I'm kind of getting that vibe from you. Am I way off base?
See, here's the problem. I don't know. That's the honest truth. I don't know if that's what I want or if it's not what I want. I grew up and wrestling was the only thing that I wanted to do. I didn't want to be a doctor or anything. I wanted to be a wrestler when I was little. So you grow up and I started going to college and drop out of college to pursue wrestling and accomplish this. So I accomplished my childhood dream. I mean, not a whole lot of people can say that. But the problem is, and I think that a lot of people have this problem when they leave the business, is I don't have a clue what to do next. No clue. So I don't know anything other than wrestling.
Well, look, can I stop you right there? I'm going to Dr. Phil you for a second. Because now you're talking to somebody who does not know you, but has a little feel for you and has seen your work. When you say, I don't know what to do, like what exactly does that mean? Because listen to me, Jillian, you have to know what your talents are. Yeah, and I believe God gives everybody their own talents. We all have a skill set of talents that make us unique and make us who we are, and we're all different. You have to know what that skill set of talent is, right?
I was good at wrestling. I'm good at explaining wrestling. I'm good at being dramatic. I'm good at writing and creating, but I don't know anything else.
But
I don't know where to put that.
Well, but a big part of wrestling is performing. And when I saw you, you are a great performer, a natural performer. There's no there's no area you won't go, no inhibitions. You're a great performer. Have you ever tried going down that road?
I considered it, but I have so much stuff in my personal life. It's so hard to get into anything right now. I need to just pick something and do it, though, because I'm getting old now.
All right, let me ask you this. If there is one thing if you could have your dream job tomorrow, what is that dream job?
I want to be on The View.
Do you really?
Yes.
You're a big fan of The View. Who's your favorite on The View?
It's not that I'm a big fan of the people on there because they switch them like crazy, but I'm a fan of the concept. So it wouldn't necessarily have to be The View, but I would love to do something with
okay. So why don't we start there? Everybody's podcasting today, but you know what? Very few female podcasters. It's a male-dominated business, podcasting. You present yourself well, you're attractive, you're beautiful, you're smart, you got an opinion. You've lived a life where you could tell hundreds of life lessons you could share. Is that why not start there?
Well, that's more about other people. That wouldn't really be about me.
But you can have an influence on other people. You can have you listen. Here's my point. Let me tell you straight out. Here's my point. Okay. You're very unique. You're very unique. You're very talented. You're very beautiful. You need to play by your own rules. You don't need to go work for somebody that here's what you're going to do. And we're going to put you in this little box. And this is how far you gotta be a butterfly. You gotta fly. You gotta fly.
I can't do the normal dog thing. It's not me. It's not in me.
No, I'm not saying that at all, but I'm saying you write your future. You do what it is you want to do, where you're in the driver's seat and you call the shot. And I think you're selling yourself short because you are a great wrestler. You did it. You were good at it. But what I saw was a lot of other tools and talents that you could use outside of the wrestling world. That's just my assessment.
Well, maybe it is a good idea to just get an agent and see what happens. I don't know right now.
Not? Right? Why not? Is that you're in Florida now, right? Your daughter lives in Florida?
She's in Kentucky.
Oh, I'm in Indiana. You want me to be the step parent? I'll make sure your daughter's doing okay if you want. So my point is, is there anything holding you to Florida?
No, not anymore. Well, my dad's here and my sister's here, but I mean, I don't have to be here.
You go to LA, you get an agent, you have a background, you've done TV.
Is it that easy?
Yes, when you have talent, it is. You know what I learned about LA? Because I've dabbled in LA a lot, and I know a lot of people in that area. There's a lot of great wrestlers in that area that I'm friends with. You know Katrina Waters, you know Kat. Yeah. Kat's out there. Kat's directing. Kat's writing her own short films. I have her on the show quite a bit.
For a long time.
Oh, great girl. You know Shelly Martinez?
Yeah, Shelly and Melina are both out there.
Oh, so you've got friends like that. This is what I learned about LA, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I swear to you. If you have talent, and not only do you have talent, you got talent and a resume. You've done it. You're not going out there fresh. You got talent and a resume. If you have talent and you live there and you're in the center of that city and you wire yourself out and you connect yourself, if you have talent, you can make it and make a career. I'm telling you, but you have to be there. Listen to me. I don't know you from Adam. We're supposed to have this interview. I'm telling you right now, you followed me for a reason. I asked you to come on the show for a reason. And here's the reason. Don't sell yourself short. You're still young. You're beautiful. You're talented out the wazoo. You can write your own ticket.
Thank
You understand what I'm saying to you? You understand? Do you hear me?
I do hear you, and I need somebody to push me, actually. So
Here's what's blowing my mind. Can I tell you what's blowing my mind?
sure.
I see this freaking performer with no limitations whatsoever, owning a ring, singing like God knows what, a baby seal in pain. I don't even know what that was. Owning it. You belonged there. You were a star. You had those people in the palm of your hand. And somewhere along the line now, you got some doubt in your mind about these talents and these God-given talents that you have, because other people have beat you down and other people have told you differently. I think you need to go back and look at you perform and see what I saw. Don't let anybody sell you short. It is in you. It is what you're supposed to be doing. And you don't have to settle for, independent wrestling shots. You can write your own ticket because you are that good. You got to get that confidence back, man.
I do. You're right.
Am I getting through to you?
You
Jillian?
are, and I understand. I totally get it, and I know that you're right. But
It seems like you're afraid of something. What are you afraid? You can't be afraid of failure because
one thing after another negative has happened to me in the past several years, and it's just like I can't get it together right now. I'm not in a horrible place, but I'm not in a good place.
Okay, but the glass is half empty. But here's the bottom line. Through those experiences that were all supposed to happen for a reason, whatever they were, all those situations and all those valleys are designed to make you stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. So as where the glass is half full, now the glass should be half full, because all those experiences have made you a stronger woman.
I don't know. I don't think that they've reached that point. They're not making me stronger yet. They kind of are still tearing me down a little bit. I know I'm being negative. That's horrible.
No, I don't like you being negative, but it breaks my heart, because seeing you for the first time, I'm sitting here and I'm saying, listen, Jillian, let me tell you something all the time. I talk about this all the time on my show. I've been dealing with depression since I'm 22 years old. I'm 56. I got married at 22. Everything hit me at once, and I've dealt with depression my whole life. You know what the wrestling business can do to you. The wrestling business has a way of making you feel you're worthless. You're lucky you have a job. Without us, you're nothing. That's what the wrestling business does to you. But let me tell you something. You're talking to somebody that doesn't know you from Adam. But I saw you at your happiest moment. And now that you've gone through all these experiences, you've really forgotten of these gifts that you have and what you can do. And don't allow that to happen. Yeah. I mean that. I mean, I don't know you, but I saw the talent. I saw you. God, I watched you on my computer. You're freaking jumping through my screen with this charisma. And I'm like, this girl's unbelievable.
Just kind of gave up on myself, I think. And I have to get myself back. I'm not sure how to do it.
Well, can I tell you something? Do you know what I just did? Let me tell you I'm 56 years old, Jillian, and I know you're a lot younger than me. I'm 56 years old. You know what I need to do? I lived in Colorado for 9 years. I loved Colorado. I don't think there's a better place in the world than Colorado. Okay. But at 56 years old, it was getting mundane, and it was like the same thing for me every day. Nothing was changing for me, nothing. And like, I started looking at and I know you're doing this. Oh my God, is this going to be the rest of my life? Like, is this what I'm going to be doing the rest of my life? I know the game. I've been there. You know what I did? I now live in a log cabin with a lake in my backyard, because I knew I needed a change. And I knew that's not me. I've been beaten down. This is what they've made. That's not me. I need a change. I need to do something. I need to start over. I need to get back on the horse. That's what you need to do. You got so much freaking talent. You're beautiful, beautiful, inside and out.
Every time I start to get something going or I feel like I'm heading towards a better place, something bad happens again. It's like a curse or something.
It's not a curse. Those things happen because that's not the right thing. But the right thing is going to come along and you're going to know it. You know that group of girls out there. You already got a head start. I know somebody out there that works for one of these agent. The guy I worked with is now becoming an agent out in Hollywood. He's working at an agency and they're grooming him to be an agent. You've got connections. You got people out there. Man, you bring something to the table, the beauty and the comedy and the personality. Not a lot of people have that, Jillian. Don't ever forget who you are, man. I'm telling you, please. For me.
Okay. I told you I was emotional.
That's so. Hey, I'm very. Hey, I can't watch I can't watch a dog commercial without crying, for crying out loud. Trust me, I know emotion. Hey, can I ask you one other thing like that? Like it blows my mind. What was this incident? Did somebody just like clock you? Like a complete strain? Like what was that?
Well, yeah. Someone hit me and they took off. I think I know the person though. I didn't think I knew at the time, but now I think I know.
Okay, so you think so it wasn't like a hit and run. You think you know who that might have been.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jillian, how can I help you? Because I don't want you. Listen, I know wrestling. I know the wrestling business. I don't want you settling for something when I know you could achieve so much more. If there is any way whatsoever I could help you, I would love to. Like I said, I know some people in LA. You already got there's a little circle out there in LA of wrestlers, good people. Katrina's doing her own stuff, directing films. I mean, she's got her foot in that door. You can't forget who you are. Don't let anybody beat you down. That's what people do. People beat each other down so they could climb above them. They tear others down to put themselves up on a pedestal. That's what happens.
I've been letting people do that to me for a while now.
What am I seeing that you're not seeing? You tell me.
Just after the husband thing, after he ended up sending me to jail, oh my gosh, after all of this, it's just like I lost who I was and I haven't been able to find it yet. And so that's the reason I am making somewhat of a comeback, is because I need to go back and find myself again. And I may not find who I am, but it's going to at least get me started on coming out of where I am right now.
Yeah. Well, I get that. And if that's going to help you and be a start, I get it. And that's a cool thing. But what all I'm suggesting to you is, you have dreams. Listen, you yourself said, who has a dream as a little kid and fulfills that? Very, very few people are blessed to have that happen to them. That happened to you. Listen, being a kid and wanting to be a wrestler is like wanting to be a baseball player. I mean, that was me. But I knew by the time I was 14, that ain't ever going to happen. You did that. You accomplished that. You still have dreams. If you accomplish something like that where the odds were so great against you, there are very few places in wrestling you can work. You did it. You achieved it. If you achieve that, you should still be able to achieve any other dream you have at this point in your life. You did it. You proved you could do it. Don't sell yourself short.
I just have to get that mentality back, as I'm not there completely. I just have to find myself again. That's all there is. I have to find myself, but I'm trying. I'm starting, I guess. Can
I ask you a question? I'm going so off topic here, but I don't care.
Okay.
Are you a person who believes in God?
Yeah.
Okay, Jillian, let me tell you something. Hear me out for a second. I talk about God a lot, and let me tell you why I talk about God a lot, because it's logical. It's logical. The reason people don't believe in God is they don't believe in something they can't see.
Yeah.
When you really, sit down and read the Bible and pray and listen, it all makes sense. You do believe in God, right?
Yes.
Let me put everything in its proper perspective for you. Okay. This was the mighty God, the one and only God that created everything on this earth and everybody. Are you with me?
Mm-hmm.
We're all different. Every one of us are all different. We have different skill sets. My belief in that is it's because he had a master plan, and every single one of us, we're a puzzle piece that fits into that plan. We all have a purpose here. We all have a goal. It could be meeting and influencing one person. It could be anything, but every one of us are here for a reason, and we have a goal. Now, why that makes sense is God is not going to create you if he doesn't have a reason to create you. It's a waste of his time. Like, why am I going to give life to this Jillian over here if I've got nothing for her to do? God is not going to waste his time. So when you were created, you had a specific role that you were supposed to achieve, a place in the puzzle to fit in. He gave you the gifts. You know what the gifts are. You have these gifts, and you're supposed to utilize these gifts in a certain way. I honestly believe the meaning in life, here's the meaning of life. Our entire life, we are in search of what is it that God created us to do? Because the minute we're doing what not what we wanted to do, the minute we're doing what he created us to do, our lives are complete. We are happy. We know our purpose, and we know our role. I know I'm 56. I'm still going on that journey every day. God, what is it you want me to do? Whatever is your will is my way. Just show me. What do you want me to do? You want me to be a garbage man? You want me to do? What is it that you want me to do? That's the freaking journey. And here's what I tell what I tell myself when I sometimes I sit in this house all alone. My dog just passed away. He was my best friend in the world. My mother passed away a couple weeks after. I was devastated. When I sink into a depression, and I know you're having days of depression, I know that you are, you know what I sit here and I tell myself? Here's what I tell myself. Did this great, mighty, powerful, loving God, did he create me to sit here and be depressed? Is that why he gave me life? Did he give me life to sit here and be depressed and look at the life? Would he have wasted his time if he knew this is what I was doing? That's what I tell myself every time. And that's what gets me going. Now, you know what your gifts are, what these gifts he gave you. He gave you them for a reason. You're supposed to be achieving something with them. You got to keep searching and finding out what that is, because as soon as you align yourself with, these are my gifts, this is what he wants me to do with them, you are going to be in a happy place for the rest of your life. This is the journey you're going through. But if you believe in God wholeheartedly, and I know you do, he did not create you to sit there and doubt yourself and not have confidence and be depressed. That's not why he created you. He created you special to make a difference and be a light in the world. And that's the only person you have to please. You don't got to please ex-husbands. You don't got to please fans on the internet. You don't got to please Vince McMahon. That's the only person you have to please.
Yeah, I have to do something about it immediately. I can't do this anymore. I'm driving myself crazy sitting here thinking about it. My brain works like it's constantly going. I can't sleep at night. It's pretty bad right now.
I've been there. I can't turn my brain off. I can't sleep at night. It keeps going nonstop. Yeah. But you got to understand something. All this is going on because you're being nudged to make the change. That's why it's happening. That's why it's happening. And that's how you got to look at it. But God, I'm telling you, man, you are such a beautiful individual. You're such a talented individual. Jillian, do not sell yourself short. Follow your heart and follow your dreams.
Thank you. I feel like I just went to therapy and church and all kinds of places.
But you know what? At the end of the day, here's the bottom line. You believe in God. You're a Christian. I'm a Christian. You know everything I'm saying is right. But
Yeah.
we lose focus of that because that's the world we live in. Let's face it, we live in a world where we're pounded down. You stink. You're a failure. You could do better. That's the world that we live in. That's not the world that was created. That's not the world we're supposed to live in. We made it that way. And the problem is, since we're out in the world, we become a part of that. And we fall into the freaking trap of all these other people that don't have God in their lives and are miserable. It's human nature for us to fall into that trap. That's why we got to constantly sit down and put everything in our proper perspective and remind ourselves who we are, what are we here for, and who do we have to please. It's that simple.
I appreciate this. I feel like I just got kicked and I needed it.
Good. Well, again, don't forget these words. And I'd love to talk to you off camera. I really believe in that. I believe in helping each other out because I think it's extra hard in the wrestling business because, like I said, man, there's something about the business that part of what's built into the business is, you're worthless. You're lucky to be working for us. If it wasn't for us, you wouldn't have a life. That's part of the wrestling business. And then all of a sudden you're out of the wrestling business and they've programmed your mind a freaking certain way. And it's BS. Jillian, it is absolutely BS. And the reason why they do that is it's real simple. The more worthless you feel, the less they have to pay you. It's that simple. Seriously, it's that the more you're lucky to be working here means the less we have to pay you. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And this is one thing I always find. I talk to so many people like you, Matt Morgan being one of them. And here's what I find all the time, and I hope this sinks in somewhere. I have so many friends that were in the wrestling business and now they're on the outside looking in. Dozens. And every time I look at these people on the outside looking in, they're all freaking so super talented. They're all super talented and they all have great hearts. And I've always said this. You can't have a good heart and exist in the wrestling business because they'll chew you up and spit you out. So
and they did with me. Yeah, they totally did.
And I see all these people sitting on the sidelines and they all have good hearts. They're great people. But you know what that means? Here's what that means. We're not supposed to be there. That's why we're not. We're not supposed to be there. There's a bigger plan. There's more to us than working a 10-minute match. We have the ability to make the world a better place. That's why we're not in it. It's the freaking wrestling bubble. Let them all stay in the wrestling bubble and be freaking miserable because one day they're going to be sitting outside of the wrestling bubble and they're going to be like, oh my God, what did I do? You're lucky to be on the outside looking in because you have too good a heart and you're too good a human being to be in that world. And there's a plan out there that's huge for you, but you've been so freaking beaten down by the world that now you're sitting there doubting your beautiful, talented self, and you cannot allow that to happen.
I agree with you.
All right?
Yes.
Well, listen, Jillian, I thank you. I thank you for being on the show. I'm going to give you my number. I want you to call me another time. Listen, I'll make calls for you out there. I do know people out there. When you're feeling low and blue, I want you to know you got somebody to call, and I mean that. Listen, when I became a Christian, I understood one thing. I understood the importance of putting other people before us. You know, God was a servant himself. We're supposed to serve other people. As soon as we put that mentality into play, our lives completely change. I was a victim of that. So when I tell you I am here, I can listen to you, I can help you, I want to talk to you whenever you're feeling blue, whenever you're doubting, whenever you're feeling down, please, please, please know you got somebody you could talk to.
It's really nice. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jillian, listen, I thank you so much for coming on the show. Is there anything you want to plug? I mean, if somebody is looking to book you, anything you want to plug, a lot of people are going to be listening to this, so we can get all that information out there.
If you want to book me for wrestling or something other than wrestling, my my email is jillianhall999@gmail.com. My Twitter is jillianhall1, and you can find me there.
And you've never even tried to get an agent, have you?
No.
No.
I told you I just gave up on everything.
No more. That changes. That changes right now. Well, Jillian, God bless you. Know that you got a friend, you got somebody that's in your corner. Please, man, hold that beautiful face up high, because you're here to do great things, and you will do great things. I promise you. You just have to have faith. You have to have absolute faith.
I'm going to do it.
You know, just know, man, you've entertained millions before. You're going to entertain millions again. That's the gift that was given to you.
Thank you.
All right. Jillian Hall, thanks for joining us. I'll talk to you next time. Please keep in touch with me.
You too. Bye.
Okay. Take care. Bye. All right, everybody. There you have it. The great, beautiful Jillian Hall. I'm glad I had that conversation with Jillian. I knew I was supposed to have some kind of conversation. I felt some kind of a connection to her. And like just some of the few things she was saying, I got it and I felt it. And that conversation wasn't just for Jillian. It's for every one of you listening to this show. Man, don't feel down. Don't beat yourself up. Don't start to feel you're worthless. That's the world working against you. Don't be of this world. You were born to do great things. You were created to do great things. You got to have faith. You got to pray. You got to talk to the man upstairs. You got to read his word. His word will give you guidance. Trust me, you were not put here to be miserable. God didn't play the joke on you. You got a reason. You got to find what that reason is. And I hope you can walk away from this and take that into consideration. Also, remember to go to podcast1.com to find all the great sponsors of Vince Russo's The Brand. Because of them, I can bring you the brand each week with limited ads at no additional cost to you. If you heard a sponsor that you want to try out or forgot a sponsor and want to see a list, you can access them by clicking on the Killer Deals button at podcast1.com and visiting Vince Russo's The Brand page. We only approve sponsors who make sense for my audience, and each of my sponsors are listed there with the banners linked to the promotional deal and the promo listed by the brands. Everything you need, easily accessible in one place. So thanks to our sponsors, and thanks to all of you for supporting them. In addition, the brand is a participant in the Amazon Associates Program, an affiliate advertising program designed to provide a means for me to earn fees by linking to Amazon.com and affiliated sites. You can link to Amazon at podcast1.com. Well, there you have it, everybody. And I hope you heard the Lord speak to you through me. Don't sell yourself short. Don't let others lead you. You need one guy to lead you, and that's it. I will see you tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel.